Every day, Michael MacCauley sticks to the same routine before heading to work. He spends time with his wife Karen and son Danny, and then hops on the train to work, where he often chats with other regular commuters like Walt. Michael's job is selling life insurance. But today, his boss calls him into the office and tells him he's losing his job. Michael tries to argue to keep his job, but his boss still lets him go. Michael goes to a bar and meets his friend, Officer Alex Murphy, who used to be his partner when he was a detective. While they're talking, a news story on TV mentions a city planner who supposedly jumped off a building a few nights ago. Michael tells Murphy that he hasn't told Karen about losing his job. Then, they find out that their old colleague Dave Hawthorne, who they don't really like, is now their boss as a captain. He comes over to have a short chat with them. On the train ride home, Walt tells Michael that a woman is watching him. Michael sits down, and the woman, Joanna, comes over to talk. They have a brief friendly chat, and Joanna lets Michael know that there's a spot on the train with $25,000 in it, plus another $75,000 in cash. She tells him he can keep the money if he helps find someone named Prin at the last stop in Cold Spring. Before leaving, Joanna suggests that she knows Michael used to be a cop. Michael checks the place where the money is supposed to be and does find it. When the train stops, a young woman approaches Michael and tries to claim the money, but he decides to keep it for himself. The woman then hands him an envelope, saying it's a message. Michael opens the envelope and finds Karen's wedding ring inside. Since he lost his own phone, Michael asks another passenger, Tony, if he can use their phone. He tries calling Karen but can't get through. He has the same result when he calls Murphy, but he leaves a message. Then, Joanna gets in touch with him and tells him he's made a choice and needs to find Prin, or something bad will happen to Karen and Danny. Michael tries to jot down a message on a piece of newspaper to ask Walt to contact the police. Just then, Michael's phone rings, and it's Murphy calling. Michael explains the situation to Murphy, who mentions that a witness named Prin claims to have seen two men throw the city planner off the building. After ending the call with Murphy, Joanna calls Michael again and tells him to look out of the window. Michael sees Walt getting ready to cross the street to talk to some police officers. But then, someone who's working with Joanna pushes Walt in front of a bus, and he's killed. She warns Michael that this is what happens when he tries to back out. She tells him to find Prin in a bag they're carrying and to attach a tracker they gave him onto the bag. Michael looks around at the other passengers to see if anyone is watching him. He talks to a few people, but they just think he's acting strangely. Michael sees a young girl named Gwen with a bag, but when he follows her, he finds out she has fake IDs for her boyfriend. Then, he notices a young man named Dylan who's on the phone and has a bag. Michael goes after Dylan, who then gets aggressive in the next train car because he's being followed. When Michael mentions Prin, it makes Dylan suspicious, and they start fighting. Eventually, Michael lets Dylan win so he can secretly attach the tracker to him. Sometime later, Joanna calls Michael again, and he looks under the train car's floor. He finds Dylan's dead body with a gunshot wound in his head. Joanna blames Michael for identifying the wrong person. What makes it worse, the police are on their way after hearing about disturbances on the train. Michael hides beside Dylan's body, but he's stuck when a cop inspecting the car accidentally locks the door by stepping on the handle. As the train starts moving again, Michael manages to slide off it and roll away before returning. Unfortunately, his bag gets caught, and when he pulls it free, all the money, except for a $100 bill, flies out. As the train approaches Cold Spring, Michael gets more desperate. He thinks that 5 passengers he's never seen before might be Prin. However, he makes a mistake and believes a man playing cards with Tony is Prin. Michael then follows a guitar player named Oliver into an empty car. But it turns out Oliver is not Prin, he's actually an assassin working with Joanna, sent to kill Prin. Michael and Oliver struggle for a bit until they break a window. Oliver tries to shove Michael out, but Michael gains the upper hand and stabs Oliver in the neck before throwing him out of the window, where he's hit by another train. Michael then takes Oliver's gun. With just 2 stops to go, Michael messes with the train's air conditioning to get everyone to move to the car that still has working AC. He starts suspecting that a nurse named Eva might be Prin. Michael takes Eva's phone, thinking she's contacting Joanna, and threatens her with his gun to get the truth. Scared, Eva admits that she had a fight with her boyfriend and is trying to patch things up with him. Michael says sorry when he realizes she's telling the truth. When they get to Cold Spring, Michael slowly figures out that Prin isn't any of the people he suspected earlier. He remembers a young woman who changed her seat during the trip to Cold Spring because she didn't want to sit next to an annoying passenger. Her name is Sophia. The name Prynne comes from her reading of The Scarlet Letter and its main character, Hester Prynne. Michael realizes that Sophia saw the murder and is supposed to testify with 2 FBI agents in Cold Spring. But because he won't give her up, Joanna warns via another phone call that now everyone's in danger. The train keeps going, and Michael tells one of the conductors, Sam, to stop it. Sam tries the emergency brake, but the train won't stop because the person driving it is dead. As the train heads for a crash, Michael and Sam try to uncouple their car from the rest of the train. With Sam's help, Michael manages to get it free, but there's still a chain holding them together. Sam assists Michael in getting it detached, but the train crashes with Sam still in their car. Michael jumps onto another car, which then goes off the tracks and comes to a screeching stop on the edge of a train yard. After things settle down, Michael asks Sophia if she has something the bad guys are after. She takes out a small device with information about the city planner, who happened to be a friend of hers and knew some important stuff. Sophie also mentions that she couldn't go to the police because the wrongdoers were actually police officers. Outside, the police arrive, thinking that Michael is holding the passengers hostage. Murphy shows up and tries to calm Michael down. Michael helps a large group of passengers leave the train, while a few decide to stay on board. Michael then tries to get Murphy to share any information he might have about the conspiracy. Murphy says the same thing Joanna did earlier, there's no such thing as noble, which makes Michael suspect Murphy's involvement. Murphy admits his guilt and pulls out his gun, mentioning his own family's safety. He goes searching for Prynne. When Sophia tries to reveal her identity, other passengers claim they're Prynne too. Michael and Murphy start fighting, while the cops outside try to get a clear shot at Michael. Michael manages to remove Murphy's tracking device, fooling the police. When Murphy draws his gun, Hawthorne tells the cops to take the shot, and Murphy is killed. Outside, Michael finds Karen and Danny again, learning that the authorities arrested 3 men near their home. Sophia talks to the FBI agents and shares her account of the events. The other passengers see Michael as a hero. He then has a chat with Hawthorne, who says they will investigate Murphy and anyone who might have been helping him. Hawthorne also proposes the idea of inviting Michael back to his former position as a detective. Later on, Michael returns to the train and locates Joanna. Despite her acting like she doesn't recognize him, Michael believes he has her entire plan figured out and that it won't be successful now. When she asks him what he thinks will happen, Michael just shows his detective badge. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification, so you can watch more video like this. Thanks for watching.